In this demonstration you will learn how to implement a main view model. Let's switch to Visual Studio. Here in the Customers App project, let's right-click the View Model folder and let's select from the context menu Add Class. I call the class Main View Model and I add it to the project. Now first, let's remove here the unnecessary usings and let's make this Main View Model class a public class. Next, let's inherit this View Model class from View Model Base. In the View Model, let's create a Selected View Model property that will contain the selected Detail View Model. So I use here the prop full snippet and I press the Tab key twice. The property should be of type View Model Base and let's call the field here _selected view model. Now let's press the Tab key and let's call the property Selected View Model. Let's use here an expression body for the getter, and in the setter, let's raise the property changed event by calling the raise property changed method of the View Model Base class. The selected view model property can be null, so let's add here a question mark to the type. Now let's create also a constructor for the main view model. I used the CTOR snippet and I pressed the Tab key twice. On the constructor, let's define a constructor parameter of type Customers View Model. This is a detail view model that we want to use. Let's call the constructor parameter Customers View Model and let's press Ctrl- to create and assign it to a field Customers View Model. I changed the field to _Customers View Model and I press Ctrl- to rename it. Let's remove here from the constructor the this keyword. Now in the constructor, let's set the Selected View Model property to the Customers View Model. Right now, this is our only detail view model. Beside the constructor and the Selected View Model property, you need also a load async method in the main view model. So let's define here a public method that returns a task. I press Ctrl- to add a using for system threading tasks, and let's call the method loadAsync. Now in this method, let's check if the selected view model is not null, and if that's the case, let's call on the selected view model a loadAsync method. As the selected view model property is of type View Model Base, let's define this loadAsync method in the View Model Base class. So I put the cursor on the method here and I press Ctrl- to generate this method in the View Model Base class. Now let's go to the Solution Explorer and let's open here the View Model Base class. Here you can see the generated loadAsync method. First, let's change this here to a public method and let's make it virtual so that subclasses can override it. Instead of throwing here an exception, I just return from that base method a completed task. You could also make this an abstract method, but then every subclass of View Model Base would have to implement a loadAsync method. Now let's go to the Solution Explorer and let's open the Customers View Model class and let's scroll down in this class to the loadAsync method. As you can see, the loadAsync method is underlined in green. When you hover it, you can see here that it hides the inherited loadAsync method of the View Model Base class. Instead of hiding it, we want to override it. So let's add to this method the override keyword, and now that green underline disappeared. Now let's go back to the main view model class, and also here the loadAsync method is underlined in green because you haven't used the override keyword. Alright, now the main view model is implemented and you can use it. In the next clip, let's bind to this view model from the main window.